Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to a special edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. We are right at the end. It's almost 9 o'clock Eastern Time here on Friday, July 20th, smack dab in the middle of the second day of San Diego Comic-Con. And while I was out running errands this afternoon, some major news broke that was kind of shocking, mostly because the story hasn't really had too much press prior to the announcement that was made earlier today. And when I saw it, like I said, I was shocked, and then came home, and dug into the story a little more and decided it would be a good idea to talk to you guys and cover this story real quick, because it does have lots of major ramifications for Marvel. So even though Marvel is not, participating in a big way at San Diego Comic-Con, they are landing smack dab in the middle of Friday with easily the biggest headline of the day, and might be the biggest headline of the weekend. So that is, of course, that Disney came out today and fired James Gunn from Marvel Studios and from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Some point yesterday, late into the evening, into the early morning, a story started to surface from a website called The Daily Caller. They posted an article that chronicled offensive tweets that Gunn had put out between 2008 and 2011, which was 2 years prior to the 2013 Guardians of the Galaxy. So this was all before he joined Disney. The tweets, as Gunn has come out and said both publicly since the announcement this morning, and apparently he had also talked about this in the past, but had mentioned how at the beginning of his career, he was kind of more of a provocateur, made horror films like Slither, and, was kind of taking more of a crude comic approach back then, and has labeled these as crude, insensitive jokes that he thought was funny back then, but now does not find so funny. And we'll talk about all the things he has said since this came out in a minute. But these insensitive jokes regard subject matter like rape and pedophilia, and really serious subject matter that you don't really want to joke around about ever. And the article also draws some possible links between Gunn and somebody who was investigated for child pornography. And one of the other things in a tweet is kind of linked to something else that involves a kid. Like I said, all very, very, very serious stuff. And nobody was really talking about it. The Daily Caller is really the only place that had this. And a lot of people have come out and said this is kind of like a revenge kind of backlash toward Gunn for all of his anti-Trump tweets. James Gunn is very, very active on social media and very, very anti-Donald Trump and things that he does. And a lot of, people are calling that this is, a revenge, that this group of conservative, conservative people have, been digging to find something on James Gunn, have found this, surfaced it, and here we are. Now, whether, that's the case or not, that does not absolve James Gunn from tweeting these things. And I looked at the tweets today, and they are rather vulgar and very, very inappropriate and offensive, and, just not things that you want to see from anybody that's coming from, anybody in general, but certainly not anybody that's coming from the Marvel or Disney family. And because of that, with such little reporting for a while, it felt like maybe this was going to somehow disappear. Right smack dab in the middle of Comic-Con, and nobody was really talking about it last night. And Disney comes out today, fires James Gunn, and now everybody's talking about it, and this story is starting to get a lot of traction. Why there was nothing prior, who knows? I mean, it could be the fact that, what the subject matter that it was dealing with, and, just waiting to see, I don't know. But, I'm sure there are plenty of media sources probably kicking themselves for not trying to cover this prior to the Disney announcement. So did Disney do the right thing by firing James Gunn, talking about tweets that are, as far back as a decade old? To lose his job after bringing you millions and millions and millions of dollars and two very, very good Guardians movies, they absolutely did the right thing. You had to sever ties with James Gunn here. I think the disappointing thing, if you're going to get on Disney for anything, is that they did not do their due diligence and fully vet James Gunn before, all of this started. I think if they would have done that at the beginning, either one, don't hire James Gunn ever and this never becomes a thing, or two, you get out in front of it early so that by the time you start making money and you have a franchise that's really, really clicking, that you don't now have a director that has to leave. But like I said, Disney 100% did the right thing, coming out right away and just severing the tie. Like I said, because this ties back to, you know, things like pedophilia and rape, and the possible connection to some, you know, to a possible pedophile. Who knows? I don't know anything. These are just, you know, this is just the basic amount of facts that I've gathered from things online. And there's all sorts of accusations. This story could be done right here. This story could go on for quite some time. You know, and this had many ramifications, not just Gunn losing his job at Marvel, but he was supposed to be on the Sony panel as a special guest today. Many people were expecting him to announce a Bloodborne movie. He had been tweeting out some things that kind of were making people make links to Bloodborne video game on PlayStation that, you know, certainly had me hyped, and Sony also doing the right thing, removing him from their slate of guests on their panel. So what is this? What is Gunn's reaction to all of this? Rightfully so. Gunn has come out and said he has no at least publicly, he has no ill will toward Disney. Completely understands where they're coming from. You know, he regrets the fact that this has happened, and has apologized again, as he did back when these tweets first come out, and has even said now that the person he is now is not the person he was back then, and looking at these things that he thought were funny, he sees no humor in them now. He has completely apologized, and, you know, he thanks people for any support. I believe he thanked people for any support that's out there, but for the most part, you know, there doesn't seem to be any ill will coming from James Gunn. He seems to be completely understanding, and is handling this the way he should. So altogether, I mean, it's rather unfortunate. As I said, like I said, the fallout, this leaves Gunn gone, as he's already written at least one full draft of Guardians 3, and after the Russo brothers were to exit the Marvel cinematic universe, Gunn was being eyed by Feige to be the guy to kind of become the lead creative at Marvel as they push forward. So now that will also be off the table. Does this mean we should worry? No, I don't think so. One, like I said, I think Disney did the right thing getting out in front of this early and taking really quick and swift action. I think that saves Disney and Marvel a whole lot of headaches down the road. And I don't think this leaves them in too much trouble. A lot of people already today have made the connection that Taika Waititi should be the guy to take over. He seems to be the most logical choice. Gunn was a huge pro-Waititi guy after Ragnarok came out. And so I think that's the logical choice. I think he can do that material. We know he can do the comedy. I mean, you know, his writing was so sharp and on point in Thor. He seems like the perfect person to just come in, pick up this project, and take it wherever it needs to go for Marvel. So I'm not worried about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at all. And if you don't give it to Waititi, or Waititi doesn't want it, there's a slew of really talented directors in Hollywood right now, and any number of them could come in here and pick up this material and make it work. I mean, look, at the end of the day, yes, James Gunn brought some really, really impressive things to this franchise, but we have 2 movies to work off of. We have characters who have been around for 2+ movies, who know their characters, and we have a guy in Kevin Feige who's very, very, very smart. And Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't happen without Kevin Feige. There's going to be no issue there. So that's it, man. You know, like I said, it's super disappointing. You know, this totally caught me off guard. It was very shocking. Was not expecting this today, and like, as I said, because so little reporting, I was just barely starting to hear rumbles about it yesterday. Late night. So there you go, man. That's it. Unfortunately, not a fun video from the Seaman today, but a very important one to definitely talk about. So there it is, man. No more James Gunn, but I think Marvel and Disney have done the right thing, and I don't think they have anything to worry about moving forward. Like I said, they have a slew of talented directors in-house already, and, you know, it just seems like every day something new is coming out from another young, hungry director, and that should also help them wherever they go post-Avengers 4. So that's it, man. that's all I've got to say. It's your turn. Please hit those comments below and let me know what you think. And remember, you know, we're talking about very, very sensitive subject matter. I mean, as you can see, I've had no positive, smiley enthusiasm like normal. So just be cautious of the things you say down in the comments if you're going to comment on anything. You know, let's try, you know, keep it non-offensive. You know, anytime we're dealing with subject matter like this, just be careful with what you say. If you hit the comments, please let me know what you think. What do you think Marvel should do? Did Disney make the right decision? Is Marvel in trouble? You know, where should they go? And how should they move forward? Hit those comments, let me know what you think. As always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you get alerts every time I make a new video. For the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down, I am the Seaman, and I am signing off. Peace!